It is not. And I know we're in an instant gratification society. You know, everybody wants things like instantaneously and they want to see the results overnight. And I always try to explain to people, you got to trust the process. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
put on the weight on overnight. I didn't put on the weight overnight. It was years and years. And I had to slowly, it was a mindset shift. I had to slowly go into it and then build upon it over time. And now, you can find me doing burpees and push-ups and high intensity interval training on my treadmill. I got a spin bike. I mean, I do all the things, but it was over time, and I'm almost 50. So it's like you got to build over course, and then listen to your body. When your body is like, I can't do all that, modify, do something else to fit it in, but don't stop. All right.
You're listening to the First Class Life Show hosted by Lindsay Vertner, a holistic personal development show for high achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So grab a drink, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Hey, First Class family. Please be aware that this episode does contain a few audio and or video technical difficulties that couldn't be corrected without losing the valuable content. We don't strive to be perfect, but we do strive for excellence. And it's most important to us that you are served despite this minor obstacle. Thank you so much for your patience with this episode. Enjoy the show. Hey, all you lovely leaders out there. Welcome to another episode of the First Class Life Show. I'm super excited for us to just jump right in the conversation with today's lovely guest, Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway. Listen, we aren't going to waste any time. Rochelle, thank you for being in the First Class Life Studios. How are you?
Absolutely. I'm wonderful. I'm amazing. Thank you so much for allowing me an opportunity to be on your platform. I am excited to be here and to share as much as I possibly can to help the next the next her. So I'm with you all the way on this. So I'm very grateful. Very grateful.
Yes, and y'all know she's a slay queen already. Just look at her back. Look at her background. She's got fabulous fits back there, fabulous photos.
I have to bring it. In the world today with the Zoom calls, the Skype calls, the you name it calls, everybody's looking at, something in the background. I'm like, I got to make this exciting and it has to fit me. I am the Slay Queen. All right. So the Slay Queen does a lot of extra things. And so my colors, my signature colors are all displayed here, but I just created something extra special for the viewers every time I go online. So thank you so
Nice.
much.
Extra.
Extra special.
Extra special. You extraordinary, right?
Yes.
So tell us, who is the Slay Queen? Like, pull back the curtains and give us the tea on who are you really, girl?
Oh my. Okay. So I am a military brat. My dad was in the military for 23 years. He served in the United States Air Force. So we moved all over the place. And then we ended up in Kokomo, Indiana, which is not too far from you. And, at that time, I was in college for about a year and a half. Um, and I just didn't know if I was going to make it because I was getting bad grades. I was bringing home C's. My parents were like, "What are you doing?" And I was going for it to be an occupational therapist, and it was not fitting for me. It was not fitting. So, quite frankly, out of desperation and on a whim, I just decided to enlist in the United States Air Force. So I enlisted, and I went into the military. I served in the military for 3 decades, for 30 years. Thank
That
you.
deserves a round of applause. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
service.
You're welcome. And, you know, the first 10 years was quite interesting. I was a party girl. And so every little party was out there. I was there. I was the party, y'all. I was the party. And, when you're trying to defend the Constitution of the United States and, to lead in the Air Force and you're partying, it doesn't sit well all the time. It just doesn't, right? So I was a person who shopped on Saturdays and, got the outfits with my girlfriends. And then we would go out and then we would do this over and over and over again. And I grew up with my weight struggle. So I had, this fluctuation of weight between,
Mhm.
140, 200 pounds. And when I was in high school, we were sizing up uniforms because I was a band geek. I don't know who's out there who's been a band geek, but I played all the instruments, all the wind instruments and the drum. And I was a drum major. So I did all the things in the band. And we had to get sized for uniforms. So we got
Mhm.
our height and our weight, and it was in a big form. And the lady at the weight scale said 200 pounds. Oh my God, y'all. It was horrible. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. How did I get
Oh.
there? How did I get there? As a junior in high school, that's kind of, where you have the peer pressures, you want to fit in. I was the fat kid that got teased a lot. I used to laugh it off. I just used to laugh it
Mhm.
off. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, cried for about a week. And I started working at a restaurant called Chi Chi's. I don't know if anybody's so familiar with it, but it's gone, it's bad, past gone. But I lost 40 pounds over that summer between junior year and senior year. And so when I went back to my senior year, everybody couldn't believe I had lost all this weight. And then I lost, another 20 pounds. And then I was able to come into the military at my maximum allowable weight. But with all the partying, smoking, drinking, you name it, my weight was just up and down. And there's an image that you have to portray in the military. And so I was struggling. I was struggling hard. And then I found out I had high blood pressure. I woke up with, blood vessels in my eyes that had been, just broke. I don't even know what you call it, busted. And, seeing stars and all these things. So to this day, I'm on high blood pressure medication.
Listen. You done said a lot, and there's something that I definitely want to point out and circle back to because I think that this happens way more often than people realize. Is you said you teased, but you laughed it off.
Yes.
A little bit more about that, how you felt on the inside, but how you showed up on the outside, because I think that's very prominent with leaders. When we're struggling with something, we hold it in or we it off, or we still show up and smile. Nobody realizes how we're being impacted by different struggles or obstacles. In your case, being teased about your weight and things like that. But we hold it in, and we show up in this different persona. Talk a little bit more about that moment.
So my mom is a sewer. She likes to sew all the things. She sewed all of our clothes. We had the little name tags in our clothes made by mom. All right. Because when I went to the store, I was wearing a size 22. And you
Mm,
go to the store and you're trying to pick out clothes. The clothes that are made in that size at that time, it's gotten better, over the years. They weren't the clothes that fit in with everybody. So I had to wear the clothes that my mom made. And I knew it. I was even on a track team, okay, and I had on track shorts, the biggest ones they had, and they were still tight. I didn't run. I did discus and shot put. It was in my way that I kind of hid that part. Like, yeah, I understand. I know that I'm a big girl, and I don't feel comfortable in my skin, but to accept me, I'm okay with you teasing me about it. I mean, that's where I
mhm,
was at. I was young, and I just didn't feel like I was completely myself, my whole self. I really just shrugged it off. I wanted to be accepted, and I didn't want to say that really hurt my feelings. That really, got me today. I was crying in the bathroom. You don't understand that joke. You know, I just and my mom and dad, they loved me unconditionally. So, they weren't ever like on us about our weight because it was a family problem. They were never on us about our weight. They just said, hey, you want seconds? Hey, you can have seconds. We have enough food here, right? And then their way to show love was to feed you. I mean, that is the culture that I'm from. You had a bad day, we feed you. We go out and we celebrate, or we go and we make it better. That was the way that I was, concluding it until that day. And when I really saw the reactions of others around me, and more importantly, within me, because I knew that my weight was holding me back from certain things, from being in certain positions, from showing up completely loving and caring for myself. And it just kind of switched. But you're right. I think we all have a tendency to hold things in, that really hurt us because we're not sure how to express it. We don't want to show our vulnerable sides of us because we don't know what others are going to think or how they're going to accept us.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love that you connected it to, your family dynamics. And it's
Yes.
not that your parents were abusive by any means, but
Mm-mm.
they showed love with food. And so it's important when we're thinking about behaviors as adults that we recognize our childhood experiences and the
Yes.
beliefs that were placed upon us and the beliefs that we were raised around, because that's actually a big part of Black culture is like,
Yeah, it
oh,
is.
let me feed you, clean your
Yeah,
plate. You want seconds?
we got it, and dessert. And my mom was the 3 meals a day. I mean, she stayed at home for most of the day. She worked at night,
Bless her
but during
heart.
the day, we would make 3 whole meals. And we would just sit there and eat it. Like this was normal. And, I didn't really realize until after I, grew up and became an adult, like, wow, that was a lot of food. That was
Yeah, I
way
can
too much
only
more.
imagine. I know if I legit eat an actual real breakfast and a lunch, I am still feeling stuffed by dinner. Like, I don't see how people eat 3 full meals a day. I know that it's
Yeah.
possible and you can like pour stuff, but for me, I just feel stuffed and bloated whenever I actually eat 3 full meals a
Yeah.
day.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was me feeling full all day, every day. It was not, it's not good. It was not good.
So you had that moment where she said it out loud, and you were like, noticing those around you. And you made the decision to, whether you intentionally made the decision or not, you made the decision to show up that way anymore. So what did that journey look like as far as that moment you said your weight out loud and you losing 40 pounds over the summer? Are you loving the First Class Life Show? Then join our private Patreon community. Not only will you help to support our ability to provide you with great content, but you can also get exclusive perks like bonus videos and resources, discounts, episode transcripts, and more. So, what are you waiting for? Join today at patreon.com/first class life. Again, that's Patreon patreon.com/first class life.
Okay. Well, at that time, I lost it unhealthy. I was not eating, I
Mm.
was working a lot, and I was not connected to the value of having my weight loss be a journey. You know, I took it as, well, it's working, all right? Well, I'll just keep on doing that. Well, when I came into the military in the first 10 years, I struggled. I didn't know exactly how to keep the weight off. It's harder to keep the weight off than it is to get it off. If anybody's been in a weight loss journey, they will know exactly what I'm talking about. You get to a certain weight or you get to a certain health goal and you're like, "Oh, it's great." And then you see it come back. And so that was happening for me. So during those first 10 years, I was getting paperwork. So in the military, they give you paperwork if you fail your weigh-ins. And I was getting all types of paperwork. And again, it's like this public announcement. Hey, everybody, we're taping, Sergeant Hemingway. Well, at the time it was King. Sergeant King, her waist size, her hip size, her neck size. What are we doing? And this is in a male dominated career field. I mean, and you've got people outside just, listening in, and you're not understanding why this is all happening. But I made at that point, so that was the second most prominent incident that happened with my weight, that I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. I am not doing this anymore. I'm embarrassed. I want to stay in the military. I want to do well, but I have to make some adjustments. So I got me some hand weights, y'all. I got me some little hand weights, 5, 10, 15-pound hand weights. I got me a little step aerobics box. I went and bought home videos, and I just started working out at home, doing a little bit of routine. And then I concentrated on healthy eating habits, what that looked like. I did research. I looked at what was comfortable with me and my body. And I really started getting in tune to what my body was responding to, what it wasn't responding to. And I slowly but surely kept the weight off. And I've kept the weight off all this time. I mean, for over 30 years, I have kept the weight off. But it is a daily, it's in my routine. It's in my routine every single day. I get up early. I get up at, between 5 and 5:30. I work out. I make healthy choice decisions. I'm not all the way good. I'm not this perfect person. When I see a piece of cake, I'm like, oh yeah, I cannot yes, please. Is it got buttercream frosting on it? I will take a piece. Thank you. Okay. But I'm doing it with mindfulness. I'm doing it knowing and understanding more about what I put into my body and how I feel. I go off of feeling. If there's a lot of, sugars and loaded with processed foods, and so I can feel it. I can feel it. And so I now decided, okay, now I'm a health and fitness advocate, enthusiast. Anybody, a lot of people ask me about my health and fitness journey, and I just share. Because I struggled with it, and I know so many people do. And especially during the pandemic, this pandemic has really, gotten people off the track.
Something that I want to point out, because I think that this is applicable to any area of life for those on a weight loss journey or even a weight gain journey. I know I've seen that before in my lifetime, as far as people being skin and bones thin trying to gain weight. But this is also applicable to other areas. And you said you started with some small weights. And as soon as you said that, I instantly thought of progress over perfection, because so often we have these goals. I want to lose 100 pounds, or I want to have a 6-figure business, or whatever it is that we're working on. And we have these big, giant goals, but because we don't have everything that we need for the end goal, we don't do anything.
Right.
And I always say progress over perfection. It's the little daily actions that add up to those big moments. You have to start with what you have and with where you're at. Just like you had the small weights and you did a little bit at home. You didn't go out and buy the biggest gym membership and say, I'm going to be at the gym 2 hours a day, every single day, like for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's not where you started. You started with what you had, a little bit at a time. So progress over perfection was the first thing that popped out to me as you were saying that. And then the second thing that popped out was ongoing. It's an
Yes.
ongoing journey. You have
Yes.
to keep up with these actions on a regular daily basis to maintain it. It's not something that you just set and for commercial, set it and forget
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Doesn't work like that. It's not
It
quite.
doesn't. Yes, it is not. And I know we're in an instant gratification society. You know, everybody wants things like instantaneously and they want to see the results overnight. And I always try to explain to people, you got to trust the process. You didn't put on the weight on overnight. I didn't put on the weight overnight. It was years and years. And I had to slowly, it was a mindset shift. I have to slowly go into it and then build upon it over time. And now, you know, you can find me doing burpees and, you know, push-ups and high intensity interval training on my treadmill. I got a spin bike. I mean, I do all the things, but it was over time and I'm almost 50. So it's like you got to build over, you know, course and then listen to your body. When your body is like, I can't do all that, modify, do something else to fit it in, but don't stop. All right.
Don't
Especially
stop.
if you have a goal that you're really trying to get after, but you should start well, you know, don't just start like tomorrow. I want to, you know, go to the beach and lay out here in my little bikini, and I'm gonna look all great and fine and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, but I knew it was a life journey for me. It's a health style, you know, like a lifestyle for me. This is what I
Mhm.
do, and I show up now like in my best version of myself. Like I am like on top of the world. Every time I go into my space and I get a good workout on, I'm just like, where are we going now? What we doing? What we slaying today? Okay. I just feel there's a feeling about it. You know, and a lot of people have shared their feelings too. And I was like, well, I thought I was not, you know, I didn't want to be the only one to think that, but there is a lot true into moving your body when you
Mhm.
move your body, you know, so you're able to move in other places, other things in your life that you weren't necessarily thinking that you could do before.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love all of that. Listen, y'all, please make sure that you are taking notes if you are tuned in, okay? Because this is some good stuff and we are just getting started.
Yes, we
And
are.
I think that this would be a great time for that I like to call first class favorites. Are you down?
Okay. Yes, I am down for
Awesome.
anything.
It's really easy. It's really easy.
Okay. I've heard that before.
Pull up my timer here. Let's put 10 seconds. Okay. So how it works is what's your favorite? Fill in the blank, and you're gonna fill in the
Okay.
blank.
Okay. Awesome.
The
I'm
kicker
down.
is you have 10 seconds to answer, and I know what's with our brains, but when we put a time on something, what's your name? It's cheating.
Okay, y'all, help me. You know, help me. Oh, I'm almost 50, y'all. So help me. Okay.
I you are some really want, get you in the flow, and
Okay.
we're gonna kick it up a notch just a little bit. And for everybody that's tuned in to the first class of the show, you want to make a game out of this. If she misses the buzzer, you gotta do something. You gotta do a push up.
There we go. Yes, yes, I love that.
And if you're not helping mode, you gotta do a okay. Hashtag no judgment.
Right.
If vacation, be like, I'm not working vacation. Then take a shot, all right? And, everybody go push up or do a burpee. Do a
A
burpee.
burpee, yes.
Here we go. Okay, so what is your color?
It is hot pink.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, that was easy.
That was easy.
And I know. And so what's your favorite song? Go.
Oh, for now, it's Beyonce's Formation because it's a slay song. And she says slay in there all day, every day. So right now, that is what my favorite song is. It changes. It changes every now and again.
And changes with the moods.
Yes.
She was in there at it and the buzzer beyond information. Yes. Okay, what is your favorite TV show?
48 hours.
I got it. Listen, y'all don't have to do any burpees today.
It might be good or bad. I don't know. I might not. I might have to like slip on a couple of questions here.
Okay, let's see. What is your favorite drink? Go. Water.
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 Outside of water, tea. So I have tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one doesn't count because I said I can't say water in the middle of her.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
You technically got it.
Oh,
What type of tea?
Right now I have mint tea. So I'm drinking mint tea today.
Mm-hmm. When I was in Egypt, we mixed hibiscus tea with mint a lot. It was so good.
Oh yeah.
The way it was specifically over there.
Yeah.
Try to fix it back home, and I was like, this don't taste like but it tastes of the same.
Oh yeah. I know.
Your favorite book? Go.
Well, besides my hashtag Slay to Success book here, my favorite book is The 12 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership from John Maxwell.
Oh, right at the third. Y'all get that? If you make sure you are part of our Patreon community, because some of our first class favorites, we have an ongoing rolling, okay? Related specifically by S here. So with that said, what's your favorite place to travel?
St. Lucia.
Lucia. That is one I'm yet.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We've been to a lot of Caribbean islands, but that one specifically, I'm like, oh yes, we need to come here a lot. So we're due to come up, on another year that we haven't traveled. So we're like, we're going back. We got to go back this year.
Well, I'm gonna hop in your carry-on, FYI.
Please come.
What is your favorite activity to relax?
Oh, relax shopping.
Shopping? Never much shopper. Like I like to buy things, but I don't like that. Whenever people are gonna go to the mall, I'm like, doesn't sound like a fun time.
No.
But I actually go to the mall by myself because like you go with people, you feel like you gotta wait on them, or if you're ready or they're not, or vice versa. You feel much like, and so that just is very stressful to shop by myself or better shop online. I can.
Yeah, I shop by myself. I like to touch things. I don't like shopping off online because I don't get to see it. So I'm one of those people, and it's very satisfying. It soothes my soul when I go into a store. And if I don't even buy anything, I'm just looking. I just like to see, the latest and greatest in that atmosphere.
Nice. Just so you know, you have to do what we're doing because we're opposites.
Yes.
I like to go when I can, but for the most part, if I work from home, it's like that. As soon as I like gotta go to the store again, like just my door. Okay.
Oh,
last one. What is your favorite?
Let's see here. I have several. That was kind of off. Well, I guess it's better to be prepared for an opportunity than to not be than to have an opportunity and not be prepared, by Les Brown.
Okay, so going off in the middle of so one more time for the folks.
It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And that is by Les Brown.
Nice. I like it. Thank you for playing First Class Favorites. Again, if you are a member of our Patreon community, then you can find our favorite books, places to travel, our favorite song playlist and our favorite relaxing activities, because we're all about self-care and your personal growth on First Class Life Show. So make sure you join the Patreon community so that you get access to those lists. All right?
Awesome. Thank
Yes.
you.
Now,
Yeah.
let's hop back in this discussion. So you've had your struggles with weight. Now,
Yes.
I know that weight can be an issue in infertility. So
Yes.
that is your specific struggle with infertility, but I know that that can be a factor in infertility. And I know that you have had issues with infertility. So let's go there for a moment. Just kind of take us back to that journey and what that looks like, because I know that that can be hard for my female leaders specifically, especially whenever they desire to have children, or they're trying to battle, like, do I follow my career? Do I follow, my dreams and aspirations, or do I go into motherhood? So just tell us
Yeah.
about your journey.
Well, um, my husband and I got married in 2003. He was also active duty. We both served 30 years. Um, in that, we thought we were going to have kids right away. I mean, I stopped taking my birth control pills. Um, I said, "Oh, okay." My family was asking, "When are y'all starting a family?" That kind of thing. So I was 31. Oh, okay, it's going to happen any time, any moment, right? Well, fast forward 7 years. Okay, 7 years, and we still did not. We never were able to get pregnant. It was kind of this unspoken um, uh, conversation that me and my husband were going back. I mean, we really didn't deeply talk about it
Hmm.
until I brought it up to him one day and said, I think we need to go get checked. From a medical standpoint, let's both get some tests, try to see why we're not getting pregnant, what we need to do. I've been reading a whole bunch of books. You know how we do. We go and we Google and we read all these books. It's just not happening. And then when we went to the medical professionals, and I have a medical background. I was a medical technician in the military, and so I thought I knew all the answers. Come to find out, I had a blocked tube. He had some low sperm mobility concerns and challenges. And they told us flat out, you will not be able to have kids naturally. You will
Mm.
not be able to have kids. So the only way that you're going to have kids together is if you do an in vitro fertilization procedure. Okay. So me and my husband said, let's try. Let's try. $10,000, lots of injections, going back to the doctor every month, checking levels, all these things. Had the procedure done, had my mom fly out. She sat with me because I had to lay, you lay on your back for a week after the procedure. At the end of that week, it did not work. It did not work. I was absolutely devastated. I was I was almost as if I had been uh scarred for life, like you
Mhm.
will not ever able to have children. You know, you cannot you're married, you're supposed to be having children, that's what really defines you as a wife, it just got in my head. It really got in my head. So fast forward a year, we went to one of our favorite locations, Cancun, y'all. If you're, I don't know what was in the water out there, but we were able to conceive naturally. It was only by God's mercy and timing. Sometimes we tend to want things like, and that was me. I want it now. It needs to happen. It's not happening. We will do this and that. It was not the right time. So at the age of 38, I had our son.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
naturally, didn't need any help. It just came. We were both in stressful environments. We're both at the leadership helms. We were both, going in every day with all this stress, with all the problems, with all the situations, all the military, expectations, and it just was not happening in that way. And we just needed to relax. We needed to go someplace where we didn't have to have that on our mind. And then I was able to get pregnant on my own. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But through that, y'all, got preeclampsia, had to have an emergency C-section. I was high risk pregnancy because anyone over the age of 35, you're considered now, you're the expert, you're experiment, you go all these different doctors, get ultrasounds, told us that, our son may have these markers, he might be having Down syndrome. I mean, these things are just on and on and on. So he's 12 now. He'll be turning 12 next week, so, and he's perfectly, wonderfully made. He is a smart child. He is almost like our parent. He tells us more. No clue. And the joy that we have having him at that time is remarkable. So for anyone who's struggling with infertility, I've been there and I understand and I know what the frustrations can be and the depression that comes with that. Um, and it's all in, for me, it's God's timing. It's what God has designed for us in our marriage. I wasn't able to have any more children after him, so it was just, okay, we have him. And I feel like, okay, that is what we needed. That's what, as much as I could tolerate in the military. Sometimes when we have so many things, you're not able to achieve a certain level. And I know God was preparing me for the level of success that I was on my path to get.
Looking for amazing products to help boost your first class lifestyle? Then head over to firstclasslifeshop.com, where you can treat yourself to personal development books and workbooks, lifestyle affirmation cards, adult coloring books, mugs, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, leggings, and more. All products were designed to help you master your mindset, walk in your purpose, and live your first class life because you deserve it. So treat yourself today at firstclasslifeshop.com. Again, that's firstclasslifeshop.com.
I agree. Like sometimes we make space for the things that we want, and because everything is so cluttered, we have so much occupied time and our energy, it's like the things that we desperately desire can't come in because there's no space. It's like this cup, right? It's like this cup. You can only put so much water in this cup. And even though you drink that Mountain Dew over there, you can't put Mountain Dew in there because it's filled up with the water. And you have to dump some of the water out and then go grab the Mountain Dew or the water or whatever you want to replace it with. So I like that you said that. And I love that you brought up, there was a lot of stress going on between the both of you, because I think so many times we don't realize how our emotions affect our physical bodies and vice versa. And we ignore those things as if they're two separate entities, but it's all of our one body working as a whole. So when you're going through things emotionally, when you're in high stress situations, and I can only imagine in the Air Force how high stress that is, like that's taking a toll on your body and how it responds and how it reacts to different things and all of that stuff, how it heals and how it restores and all of that. So I'm glad that you brought that up as well.
Yeah, and I didn't tie it in then. It took me years after I had my son to realize that all the responsibilities, all the, extra duties and, places that we were going to and the movement and adjusting and all those play in. And I didn't really tie it in until later on when I was, communicating to some other women who were challenged with that sometimes you have to reset yourself. You have to refocus, recharge, rejuvenate at certain points in your life and your seasons of life. You're going through the seasons of life, and it may not be ready for you. Like, it's not right for you because there are certain things that are still holding you, and you just need to work through those and then potentially get into your next season. And now I can live to speak about it. At the time I was very like, what is other people around me. My sister was able to have children, like she had bam, 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 and so I was like, well, what is wrong with me? My mom had 4 kids, what's wrong? What's going on? So we put a lot of stress on ourselves, and we put a lot of just these beliefs that we have to be and do at certain points of our life. And it's really not true. It's really not true.
I can only imagine, like, feeling that expectation, because oftentimes as society, it says as women, you're supposed to be a
Oh
mom,
yeah.
period.
Oh yeah.
And so, one, for those women that don't have children,
Yes.
kudos to them. And I think that's very important to know before you have children versus after the
Exactly.
fact. And, especially when we do want to have children and we aren't able to, but everybody else around us seems to be having babies all willy-nilly, then it's like, live up to that expectation of like, all right, society says I need to be a mom. Everybody around me is being a mom. I want to be a mom, but I'm not. So what did that do to your sense of self-worth, if anything?
Well, it started, you know, decreasing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was a first sergeant, which is for those that are not familiar with the Air Force roles. It's like a social worker or perhaps a human resource manager. you're you're involved in people's lives all day, every day, in all dimensions of wellness. It don't matter what it is, finances, house, your pay, your trying to get you deployed. I mean, it doesn't matter. All right. I used to get phone calls in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, to take people, get people out of jail. I was that person for 4 years. Okay. And in that role, when I saw others having children, or I had to engage with their families, it just kind of like, well, you know, how can I relate? How can I relate to a person that has 3 and 4 children who I'm trying to give advice? I am trying to guide you, and I haven't had the experience or the knowledge to give you, because I'm the type of person is, why are we talking about these kids over here when we got this mission over here to be done? I was that person until I had our son. I had no clue. I had no insight. And I think that's really where, after I had my son, I was like, some of these cases, I probably did a disservice to some of these members, because I didn't quite understand. When your child is up 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and you got to come to report to work in your uniform and ready to go, and you don't have a child care plan, because you're a single parent, or in all, those play a toll in the way that you lead people. And sometimes I think that when we can put our feet in the other person's shoes and really understand what they go through, then the empathy, then the humility, then, all those different aspects that you can use as a leader, they come into play. So I really started seeing that after I had our son. Like, so my self-worth was like kind of down in the dumps until I had him, and I was like, whoa, whoa, this is a whole new world over here. Why you calling me, telling me my son can't stay in the daycare because he's sick? Okay, so I gotta go pick him up and then take care of him. I mean, and that's, you have to be able to understand. You have to be able to understand. And I was given that opportunity to then start really understanding and use it to my advantage. I used it to my advantage because, again, the women in military, it's a very low percentage of women in the military. Even though we kind of see on the outside, oh, we got women in leadership positions, there is very small number of women. All right. And then when you have
Love
to
it.
take them and they're wearing all the hats, and you really have to be able to support and mentor and nurture them so they are able to stay into the military because that's their desire and they want to serve. So I am grateful. I'm really grateful that I was able to see it. I was able to see it. And then for those that unfortunately could not have children, I was able to share, especially when you get into leadership positions. You're like, hey, take a look at it from this aspect, this perspective. You know, they didn't have everything to come into work today because of XYZ. Give them a break, give them some grace. You know, they still want to show up, but we need to get these things, um, sorted out and let's organize. Well, let's organize and be able to support one another in better ways.
So how was that for you, balancing being a leader in the
Oh,
military with now being a mom? Because I know how hard it is for, just being in regular corporate world. And in my head, I imagine being in the military is 10 times harder. So how did you balance, if at all, those two roles? Like, I'm in this leadership position in a very powerful type of entity, the Air Force, and then now I'm this mom. So where did you find that harmony,
so I
or how?
I struggled. I literally struggled for probably like a good 10 years. I was a first sergeant when I had our son, and then I was on an inspector general's team where I was doing inspections, and then I was able to serve in the highest enlisted grade in the highest enlisted position as a command chief master sergeant at Ellsworth Air Force Base. Through that, my husband was deploying. Okay,
Mm.
so he would leave for 6 months. I had a new baby. I had the phone where people were calling me, and it had access to me at any point in time. I had to ask for help. That was the first time in my career that I had to ask for help. I remember getting on stage after I had our son in front of 500 people in a squadron. And I said, I just had my son. I will not put him into a car seat at 2 o'clock in the morning to I'm not doing that. I had to create boundaries. I had to set boundaries and limitations. And then I had to ask my team for help. If AJ gets sick, his nickname is AJ. If he gets sick, can we come up with a plan on how this is going to work? I still want to show up and do my job. I know I need to show up and do my job. How can we do this? We have a tendency, y'all, to hold those things in and don't ask for help. People are
Mhm.
willing to help you, but you got to be able to be vulnerable and take the walls down and say, please. And I did. And I did. And people helped me. And it was just absolutely I they know I'm in ever debt to them. Ever debt to them. Because my husband wasn't there and he was, in dangerous locations. He was getting mortared. He was getting attacked. I had the stress of having to deal with what if something happens to him. And then when I came into the command chief role, I went by myself. My husband had to play single parent. I went to South Dakota from Arizona by myself for 6 months, and
Mm.
then had to get my son when he's finished school. And then I was a single parent as a command chief for 3 months. And if anyone knows a command chief, you're everywhere. You're responsible for the entire installation, for the entire 8,000 people. Okay, 8,000 people. I'm in charge. I'm literally with two others, so a commander and a vice commander, and we are in charge of all the operations and the functions of the base. And now I'm a single parent. I'm asking for help. And I got to show up for my son. I got to make sure that he gets picked up from school. I got to make sure that if he needs to go to the doctor's appointment, that he goes and I take him. I have to be involved in his life. Those are some non-negotiables that I'm making right now. I have to be a part of my son's life. My husband, okay? My husband, same way. 6 o'clock. That was my cutoff time, y'all. 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. If I go into work and I'm still working on something, deuces. because my husband wasn't having it. We having dinner together. If you need to go back and take care of whatever you need to take care of after that, then so be it. But right now, we will take our time. So it was this, it's like a teeter totter. You're just on it,
Yes.
kind of balancing everything. Sometimes work is going to get the vote. Sometimes your family's going to get the vote, right? And I had to make a decision on which one was going to get the vote, all right, and how what the outcome was going to be, and still show up for all the things that I was supposed to be responsible for. So
Yeah.
it's a challenge. It's an everyday challenge.
On.
You can't go in there without a plan. Don't go in
Mm-hmm.
any of these highly coveted, highly visible roles without a plan. And so I
Like we
stuck.
said earlier in the show, it's an ongoing process.
Yes.
And what I heard you saying in that is that self-care in two ways. By one, establishing and maintaining boundaries, because self-care isn't always manicures and massages and shopping.
That's right.
It goes so much deeper than that. And then so asking for help and allowing people to help, not only asking, but then going a step further and actually allowing people to help you. And I think we often forget those pieces as leaders, to maintain boundaries and to ask for help when we need help. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I have a question for you.
Sure.
If you are the first show, First Class Life is actually an acronym about the different characteristics and skills that you want to embody into your lifestyle as much as possible so that you are able to create a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And if you want to know the full details of what that acronym stands for, make sure you go back and listen to the very first episode of the First Class Life show, or you can ClassLifeShop.com and buy the book First Class Life, and it explains it all in there with bonus resources and everything. But for now, we are going to ask the beautiful Slay Queen, which factor do you feel that you resonate with the most?
Leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership.
Now you got to tell us why.
Leadership. Okay. My acronym, my go-to is hashtag slay. It is my word, my hashtag. The L stands for lead out loud. Lead out loud. Okay. When it is time for us to put the hands on the steering wheel and drive down the road, we need to be in control, but in a healthy and strong and most powerful way. We just don't willy nilly get out here and just start doing it. So, leaders are needed more so than ever now in this crazy, unprecedented world. And it's we shrink ourselves. All right, we get into these roles sometimes. We know that it's got a lot of visibility, and we go in. All right, I show people how to come out. You know, in your most unique way with integrity and character, humility, courage, all those traits that we know they're true and dear to leadership. So I like to drive for results. I'm on this whole mission. I'm taking a master's degree program right now in leadership. It's strategic leadership. So everything leadership is what I talk about. And I will go all day, every day. I mean, I just think that we wear all the leadership hats as women. We are comfortable with leadership when things are set up just the way. But when everything comes at us, we need to understand which leadership hat we should need to put on and how do we lead. I talk about how to lead, which leadership traits matter, you know, how to maintain your seat at the table and create a seat if you don't have the right table.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Pull up your own seat to your own table and say, okay, there we go, y'all. I'm taking the lead on this, and being comfortable doing that. I think we don't show up in our most authentic selves because we don't want everybody to know, who we truly like. None of what I'm talking about is anything new to anyone. This 95% of what I talk about is what other successful leaders talk about. But my 5% is my quirks, my voice, my flavor, my word, so we all have unique gifts and talents. Instead of you hiding these things, you need to show and put them on display. Show them what you can give to the team, the leadership team that you're on, and delegate everything else. Delegate. Find people. I'm a huge proponent on delegation. If I know I am not strong in that, I give it to somebody else. I don't want to steal their shine. I got a platform. I'm going to build them up. I'm building them up because people are looking to you. I know I had a lot of eyes on me. I knew I had a lot of eyes on me. And I wanted to show them that this ordinary girl from Kokomo, Indiana can do extraordinary things. I went through a lot of things. I went through like a lot of hard and difficult challenges. I had a lot of real struggles. All right. But at the end of the day, positive attitude, positive mindset, powerful mantras, they work in their favor, and you focus your attentions. You focus your attentions on there, and you will be blown away at the amount of
attention. Yes. Because where your energy flows.
Yes.
So, Slay Queen, what do you have going on? What is it that you do now? Do you offer any services or products? Tell us about that. Because I know you retired from the Air Force. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are you up to now?
Do you want to be surrounded by other high-achieving women who are working on their goals just like you? Are you looking for your circle that's passionate about their own growth yet still wants to see you shine? Do you desire to be supported through collaborations and connections instead of competition? Then Cowork and Chill is your place to be. Cowork and Chill is a hybrid of virtual co-working and virtual networking. It's a community of women who are striving to build living legacies. This is the space to create meaningful relationships with other equally yoked women where you're being poured into just as much as you pour out. So if you're looking for your crew for supportive accountability, then sign up today at coworkandchill.com. That's COWORKANDCHILL, coworkandchill.com.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you would feel like you would just see me, you would think I was still working in the military at my schedule. But I am now the CEO and founder of #Slay to Success. All right. It's a transformational speaking and executive coach business. And I teach women, high achieving professional women, to slay, kill it, dominate it, and nail it, whatever you are trying to do, without burning out and sacrificing your health, okay, your relationships, your career, or your happiness. And I go through, now I'm like, okay, I created a book. I published a book here recently, #Slay to Success. You can find it on Amazon. #Slay. The S stands for Stay Ready to Be Ready. The L stands for Lead Out Loud. The A stands for a sense of community, a sense of family. And the Y stands for You Are Built to Last. These are all, it's mindset work, y'all. It is really getting into your head, okay, and disrupting all of these limiting beliefs and self-doubts, imposter syndromes that we do when we get into these highly coveted leadership roles. And I just walk you and give you some strategies, because we all got to have some tools and techniques. All right. Especially if you're trying to slay, you need to have tools and techniques that resonate with you, not with anybody else. I don't look out, see who's doing what and how they speaking. I'm too old for that, I think. And then, like, I'm like, I don't compare myself to anybody else because I have to deal with me. Mm-hmm. And I teach women how to do that in their most authentic way. How do you show up? Don't hide anything. Don't hide and mask yourself. All right. Because women need to be prioritized in these workplaces. And we need to keep the women in the workplaces because they're making decisions. And sometimes the women are left out of the equation. All right. And so we need you to still stay there and be able to do it and do it gracefully, with grit, with a lot of, support and help. And that's what I'm on a mission to do. I'm developing hashtag slay mindsets out here. Okay.
Okay, hashtag slay mindsets. Now,
That's right.
tell everyone where they can find you, how do they contact you. Let us
You can
know.
you can go to slaytosuccess.com. I have a website. You can email me at slaytosuccess30@gmail.com. You can look me up. You can find me on YouTube. I'm doing podcasts. Look, y'all, I got Facebook. I got an exclusive group of women. There's 600 of us in the women, high achieving professional women. If you want to be a part of that group for free, all right, you just tell me, you find me on Facebook and I will invite you. Okay. I am all the places on social platforms, the Slave Boss Lady on IG. So if you want to find me on there, you can follow me there. Um, I'm just an ordinary person though, y'all. I'm not no high celebrity or anything like that. But I just feel like more of us who've been there, done that, need to share our story to help the future generation of women who desire to be in roles like this. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So don't worry, guys. We will have all of that information over. So make sure you check it out and follow Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway. Okay. Thank you for being an amazing guest. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the First Class Live Show. I know you can be doing anything in the world, but you are tuned in with us and it is much appreciated. If you want to grab bonus footage from this interview and get access to our First Class uniquely curated list by our phenomenal guests, then make sure you join our Patreon community so that you can get access to those things. Meanwhile, I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Hashtag slay.
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But please be sure to subscribe to the First Class Life Show. And don't forget to rate, leave a review, and join our private community so that we can continue to provide you with great personal development conversations to help you maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. You deserve it.